Manipulative love doesn't feel abusive at first. It feels intoxicating, like chemistry, like finally being chosen, and that's why it works. The most dangerous relationships are not built on obvious cruelty. They're built on confusion. One moment you feel deeply wanted, the next subtly unworthy. Affection appears, then disappears. Closeness is offered, then withdrawn. And slowly, your sense of reality begins to blur. In psychology, this pattern is called intermittent reinforcement, a conditioning process where unpredictable rewards create emotional dependency. It's the same mechanism that keeps people addicted to gambling. In the dark psychology of relationships, this is one of the core tools of emotional manipulation. You're not attached because the love is good. You're attached because it's inconsistent. Manipulative love creates emotional hunger and then positions itself as the only relief. At first, the manipulator mirrors you. They listen closely. They study your wounds. They make you feel understood. But this isn't intimacy. It's information gathering. Once emotional access is secured, the dynamic shifts. Affection becomes conditional. Validation becomes scarce. You begin working for moments that used to come freely. What felt like deep chemistry slowly turns into psychological manipulation. And here's the psychological trap. You don't notice the emotional manipulation because your nervous system mistakes unpredictability for passion. Many people who fall into manipulative relationships learned early that love was unstable, that connection required vigilance, that emotional safety had to be earned. So when manipulation appears disguised as intensity, it feels familiar to your nervous system. Clinicians call this trauma bonding, a strong emotional attachment formed through cycles of reward and distress. You aren't staying because you're weak. You're staying because your body is chasing regulation. And the more you try to understand them, fix them, or prove yourself to them, the deeper the trauma bond tightens. Because manipulative love doesn't want equality. It wants leverage. And slowly, without realizing it, you stop asking, "Is this healthy?" and start asking, "How do I keep this from falling apart?" That's when love becomes control. This is the psychology of manipulative love. It works by reversing responsibility. You start feeling responsible for their moods, their distance, their coldness, their sudden shifts. When something hurts, you assume you misunderstood. When boundaries are crossed, you rationalize. When pain repeats, you normalize it. This is not mutual connection. This is psychological dominance. In dark psychology, emotional manipulation thrives on ambiguity because clarity would give you power, and power is the one thing manipulation cannot survive. This is why conversations go nowhere, why explanations never land, why apologies feel incomplete. The manipulator doesn't want resolution. They want emotional access without accountability. And here's the most important truth. If love requires you to constantly doubt yourself, it is not love. It is conditioning. Healthy relationships do not destabilize your sense of self. They do not require constant emotional labor. They do not keep you guessing where you stand. Healthy love feels grounded, consistent, and emotionally safe, not like a test you're always failing. Manipulative love trains you to abandon your intuition in favor of hope. Hope that they'll change. Hope that you'll finally get consistency. Hope that the version you met at the beginning will return. But that version was never sustainable. It was a hook. Healing from emotional manipulation begins the moment you stop trying to decode their behavior and start trusting your internal signals. That tightness in your chest is information. That confusion is data. That exhaustion is clarity. Psychologists call this reclaiming internal authority, learning to trust your perception again after prolonged emotional abuse and psychological manipulation. This is how you begin to step out of toxic relationship patterns. You don't need closure from someone who benefited from keeping you uncertain. You don't need their explanation to validate your experience. You need distance from the pattern. Because once you see manipulative love for what it is, its power collapses. What once felt intoxicating begins to feel empty. What once felt magnetic begins to feel draining. And in that moment, something returns to you, your clarity. Love was never meant to feel like a puzzle you're failing to solve. It was meant to feel like a place where your nervous system can finally rest.